Into the Wild is one of the most inspirational movies in my life, and Christopher McCandless is a human being that I resonate dearly with. In fact, many of you have shared how you see the similarities between me and Christopher. And although Christopher did die in Alaska on his grand adventure, he was a human being with great skills and knowledge, and anybody who writes him off is a person who just doesn't understand the big picture. In fact, just like he received a lot of mockery, so too do I. Today, I am so happy to be taking Emile Hirsch into the wild of Griffith Park, where I will be introducing him to a handful of very easy to identify beginner plants to learn to forage, and as he is learning them, so too will you. Today is day 223 of foraging 100% of my food and medicine, so I am in many ways living the dream of Christopher McCandless, and I'm so grateful to take you all along on this dream with us. Originally I was thinking like a really short social media thing, but then I thought it'll be way more enjoyable just to walk around together.
Yeah.
So basically we're hanging out.
Nice.
And I'm gonna try to get you to eat something.
Yeah, and this for me, this foraging is like, it's not just foraging, this is like PTSD work on me. Because it didn't, I associate foraging with it going very badly because of Into the Wild. The potato seeds.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of funny how that actually, it's a character that I played, but it's this experience that he went through where, it was like so intense.
Yeah.
And it did kind of leave a bit of a mark on me. So this is sort of like plant therapy.
Okay, I didn't realize I was going to get to help Emile Hirsch to reconnect with the earth. Good, which is my whole objective. I mean, really, the more that I've continued doing this stuff, I realize that that's all I want to do is just help people to feel more at home here on this earth, more comfortable, and like starting with these easy plants that are not, there's no chance these plants can kill you.
All right. Yes, score.
So let's walk this way. So you associate foraging with dying?
The plant paranoia was sort of reinforced because I got really into going to the nursery a few years ago with my son, and we got carrots, right?
Yeah.
And we planted them in the thing, and then he went on a hike and didn't tell me, and he picked a bunch of what he thought were wild carrots.
Yeah.
And then he got the worst rash all over his body, worse than poison oak. He's freaking out. I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like, where was your hike? Where was your hike?
Yeah.
And I go and I retrace the entire hike, literally taking pictures and like sending it to him and trying to figure out. And then I figured out which plant it was, and it was poison hemlock, which looks remarkably like wild carrot.
Yeah, they look very similar.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, thank God he didn't eat it. And that was only a few years ago. And then I was like, if anything, when I first saw the rash and I didn't know how bad it was, I was freaking out because I was like, oh my gosh, the plants are killing me again.
Oh my gosh. What would you guess this is? Any ideas? We got this green ball with these long compound leaves.
I don't know. It's a very beautiful plant, though.
Give that a smell if you'd like.
Is it? Oh man, this is like an idiot test. Is this like a date?
I wish it was a date.
I have no idea what this is.
This is actually black walnut.
Oh my God.
Yep. So you can of course buy walnuts at the store, but we literally have walnut trees growing in Griffith Park and throughout California. You can make nocino. Have you ever had nocino? It's like an Italian liquor.
I don't think so.
Well, I would have thought you had all the different liquors before.
Italian liquor, I don't know.
And so you can make that. You can also pickle these. Oh, the other thing is you can dye with these. So these shorts are dyed with black walnut.
Different kind of dye.
This is, no,
like not mortal dye.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, I should. Okay.
We're back on that. Okay.
I gotta watch my words.
All right.
You can naturally die. Also, that
you can live and die. The pigment.
there's no way to say this. You can change the color of your clothes
Okay.
to brown.
Okay, cool.
With
Wow.
black walnut.
What do you
So
have to
that's what
shave
this
it or
is.
something?
Okay, so black walnuts here. So these are, okay, at this point they're unripe.
Yeah.
So you gotta wait till fall
Okay.
to actually be able to eat them. Once these are ripe, they'll actually start falling from the tree, and the husk will start to turn brown.
That hole was perfect for that.
It's never coming out.
Amazing.
And then these are what the nuts are like inside.
Oh, wow.
And then you can take a hammer, kind of gently crack them,
Yeah.
because otherwise you'll smash them to smithereens.
Oh, that's so cool.
And then those are the walnuts inside. So what
Wow.
do you trust me to try a black
Yeah,
walnut?
of course.
All
Yeah.
right, cool.
So I actually, wow. I bought peaches from Ralph's, and I went home, got the pit, and I did the same thing with a hammer,
Yeah.
trying to crack open the pit, and then I and it took me like 5 tries of exploding the pit because it's a really sensitive pit.
And then?
But then I finally got the seeds, and it's been 4 years, and the peach trees are actually like
group peach
they're
trees?
in the backyard. They're like pretty big. They're in actually pots, so they haven't gone like fully crazy yet.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
but it's crazy. I have 3 big peach trees that I grew from peaches
Okay.
at Ralph's.
And hopefully they'll be producing some. Here's a couple.
Well, apparently peaches are a little different, where you sort of never know what you're gonna get. It's one of
With
those.
stone fruits, with peaches, if you plant by seed, you don't
Yeah.
know. You really actually want to graft them. I'm enjoying eating these black walnuts.
Yeah, they're good.
So a couple other notes on the black walnut. If you find a tree that looks like this and produces the green nuts like this, you've got black walnut. It's a very easy one to identify.
Yeah,
There are other things with green balls on them though.
like Martians.
But if you ever have parasites, these green husks are actually used as an anti-parasitic. People make tinctures from these.
Oh, that's so cool.
So lots comes from this. Natural dye, tincture, nocino alcohol, and of course the wonderful nuts.
Wow. And I noticed this more and more in the last couple of years when I started painting. Now I'll go out and I'll just be seeing, every time I go out, I see new things in a different way because I'm visually like thinking about colors and things. And now seeing this, it's like once you see something and you have it identified, you see it everywhere.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. Once you get to know the plants and you learn more of the plants, the world is never the same. Because you start to see, wow, food and medicine is growing all around us.
Yeah.
Want to walk this way?
Yeah. It was actually, you know what's kind of crazy is a lot of the, there's a lot of tobacco in the canyon.
Those big leaves.
Yeah,
they're
they're
bright
like
green.
wild tobacco plants, but I wasn't sure if you could actually like chew that or bunch it up, or I don't know.
You have to know what you're doing.
You know,
Well,
yeah,
you
because there's
you're-
probably a lot of nicotine in there.
I think they're fairly toxic.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, here's one. This is an interesting one. This is called pineapple weed, and it's also called wild chamomile. It's a relaxing herb, so you can make a nighttime chamomile herb tea with it when it's springtime and they're nice and tender.
So
and
it's
they have-
chamomile,
It's called wild chamomile, but
but it's not chamomile.
It's not chamomile. They're relatively related. Next plant. Do you know this one here?
Is this, which one are you pointing? Is this mustard?
Yep.
This is where mustard comes from.
So there's numerous different species of mustard. Black mustard is the one that's worked with the most as far as making the mustard. And the way that you see mustards is the flower buds basically look like little broccolis. They've got that greenness to them. Mustard is one of the most commonly foraged foods all across the world, actually. There's many species of edible mustards. And in the mustard family, which is the same family as kale, broccoli, all the brassicas, there are some mildly toxic plants, but none that can kill you. So it's a very easy beginner plant to work with.
Yeah.
Whereas the legume family, where the pea comes from,
Oh, yeah.
that is what they say Christopher died from.
Yeah.
That's the family that's got the most toxic plants.
Yeah.
Or one of the most toxic plants. So this is a very beginner group to work with.
You eat the flower?
Yep.
Cheers, then.
Cheers.
Oh, yeah, it tastes like a mix of like a pea and a broccoli. That's not bad.
Nice. Yeah, so you can eat it raw like this, but the real ideal way to eat it is to cook it in olive oil, like saute it.
It's actually pretty, like, for just picking something and chewing on it, it's pretty solid. I think that's the tobacco plant.
Yep, that is tobacco
Right?
over there. Yep, let's walk over there in a minute. So let's see, what other things to know about this? This is what you're looking for here is like, see how this is bendy?
Mm-hmm.
When you're eating things outside like this, what you're really looking for is bendy. Because bendy means it's younger and more tender. Just like if you're eating food from the garden, you're not looking for like stuff that's really tough. I just run my finger along it, and then wherever it easily snaps off, that's what I eat, and then the hard part I leave behind. I think there's a lot of other things to say about mustard, but that's the majority of it. Well, I guess one other thing I'll say is that sometimes I eat a pound of this per day.
Whoa.
So when it's got the nice stems, you can really eat a lot of mustard.
I mean, it's pretty tasty.
Yeah.
It's almost better than broccoli.
Better than broccoli. Try it out, friends. Emile says so.
Yeah, it's good.
This is a small stalk.
Of mustard?
Yep. Yeah. And so these stalks can be much bigger, but that's when it's, more, it's also less spicy when it's in this younger stage as well. So, yeah, and you can eat all these leaves here too.
And will animals eat these? Like, if you bring a dog out here, will it eat that? Like how dogs sometimes eat grass?
I'm sure it would eat a little bit. This is a plant that's considered invasive. There's so much of it, and it's actually
Yeah, I feel like every
detrimental.
hike you go on, it's just the hills are covered in these.
Yes. So some people are afraid to forage because they think that they'd be doing harm. Like here we are in Griffith Park, there's like millions of Los Angelinos, and what if everybody started to forage? The reality is if everybody in Los Angeles started to forage this, it would be beneficial because we already spend millions of dollars spraying to kill this stuff. Not right here. And I think. And literally Los Angelinos could come out and just eat it instead of spending all those taxpayer dollars to try to destroy it. So this is a really good plant for people that are concerned about doing harm to the ecosystem and can actually do an ecosystem service by harvesting it. All right, so, here's a beautiful black walnut here. Yeah, loaded black walnut tree.
Yeah.
So over here, now this is a plant that a lot of people will think that you'll die if you'll eat it. Have you ever seen this plant around before?
Oh, gosh, no. What is it?
So some people think this is deadly nightshade, but this is American nightshade or black nightshade. So it's in the nightshade family like tomatoes. And there's all this conversation around this being toxic, but literally 1 billion people around the world eat this. And I've eaten it for multiple years. The deadly nightshade is very different looking. The flowers are the easiest way to tell this apart. These have these little white flowers, and the deadly nightshade has big purple flowers. So when it's in the flower stage and the fruit stage, it's very easy to tell. And what you can eat on these is the berries, but you eat them once they are dark purple.
Wow.
And this one is actually not ripe enough, and this one's like a shriveled old dead one.
Yeah.
We're not in the season, but
Nightshade.
yes, it basically tastes like kind of a sweet tomato. Or have you ever had golden berries or ground cherries?
I think.
They're kind of like a tomato, but fruitier. That's what this tastes like. And then you can also eat the leaves when it's springtime or early on before they've gone to flower. All right, should we walk a little more?
Yeah.
How are the mosquitoes doing for you?
I think you're probably in more dire straits than me.
Yeah, you got a pretty.
I think this tobacco thing.
Oh yeah,
really
the tobacco.
quick. This is the rated R part of this video.
Did you learn something about this?
All I know is that it's a wild tobacco plant.
The #1 rule of foraging is only eat a plant if you're 100% sure of proper identification and how to eat it. Yes, that's the main reason that people actually get injured with foraging. I mean, almost always it's just people who are not identifying, not doing their diligence.
Yeah.
So that's an example of that. So since Into the Wild, have you just walked on the streets of LA or in the park and just eaten something off of a random tree, or not random, but off of a tree or a bush or the ground?
I don't know. Maybe not.
Maybe not. So today may be your first time just going outside in the wild and just picking a plant and eating it. Yeah. All right. How's that feeling so far?
It's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's it's good knowing, like, it's good that we know what we're doing, you know, so that kind of alleviates the uncertainty people have about the unknown types of foods, you know.
Yeah, because when I messaged you and you said, I'm not so sure about eating something, I was like, oh, he seems concerned.
Yeah, no, it's, you know.
Nice. Well, I'm happy to help break down those old ingrained ways of thinking.
Yeah. And I think, too, that is the key, because as soon as you're able to sort of analyze your own thinking, it's so much easier to change it to what you would rather be like. There's like this idea that we're like stuck in our ways, or that we have to be the people that we are because there's just no changing it. But the truth is that if you want, you can like radically make yourself the person that you would much rather be. Yeah. You know? In a real way, in a genuine way. Yeah. You know, in a way where you're like embracing your curiosity and wonder to the world, as opposed to, you know, not. Free the mind. It's like, for a beginner forager, you don't know this is edible, so you don't put it in your mouth. Doesn't that actually look to you kind of devious? Yeah, it does. It looks like some kind of twisted lollipop of some sort. Yeah. Like, I don't know. So. Oh, wow. Wow, look at that. So that is a fig. I have looked this up before. Coyote. Ooh. Hello, coyote. Do you ever forage those? Never have. Here, let's see if you have any guesses as to what this might be. Mint? Nope. Oh. Can I touch it? Yeah, you can touch it. What the hell was that? What the? This is stinging nettle. Oh my god. Straight up pranked. I wasn't. I was gonna tell you, but you started going for it. Oh my god, that's like... so funny. That's the forager's practical joke plant. So yes, indeed, this is stinging nettle. But the good news is that the sting of stinging nettle is actually medicine. Oh wow. So most people are, you know, kind of afraid of being stung by stinging nettle. How does it sting you? Little tiny, what are kind of the equivalent of hypodermic needles. Yeah, it feels like they're still in. Yeah, there's nothing that can be removed. They're literally so tiny. Uh-oh. And they don't, all they do is they give you a short-term sting. But when we're stung by stinging nettle, numerous different endorphins are released, and it actually helps with depression. And it's actually a little bit of a happiness medicine to get stung by stinging nettle. Mm. So I intentionally sting myself with stinging nettle. What? Yeah. This is a practice called urtication. Urtica is the genus, Damn.
And they've been doing that for hundreds of years. It helps to stimulate blood flow for people with diabetes.
And so you're puncturing your skin with those little micro needles.
Yeah, you know, I don't think of it as a puncture.
Reminds me of those like Catholic monks, like the one in the Da Vinci Code who takes the like freaking like tassels to his back, like
Okay.
Self-flagellation.
Slightly less painful.
It's a much more chill version of that. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, no, it's a wonderful practice. And once you know that it's good for you, it changes your mind around it, you know? So the key with it is, if you do sting yourself with it, is to start with just a little bit and do it on the rougher parts, not the, like here is kind of...
You get a rash, maybe.
It's, you do sometimes get some hives, depending on the person. But then as far as how to eat this, if you cook it, it destroys the stingers. So you can boil this and make tea.
Where the hell are these stingers? Are they on the stalk? Or are they on the leaves?
Bottom of the leaves and the stalks. And, oh yeah, there you go. See the tiny little hairs?
Ah!
Did it get you?
No.
Did you see the tiny little hairs on
Yeah.
there? Those are the stingers. They're tiny.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you might get a little tiny little welt. I've got a good, nice little buzz going. It's a totally free, natural buzz. Now, very few people do this, but what you can also do if you want to eat it raw, roll it up into a ball like that. That basically
No stinging going on?
takes
that
those
kills,
down.
Really? Just that
Destroys
quick?
the stingers, yeah.
Oh.
So it's a pretty easy beginner plant to get to know. And I eat, this is my top 10 wild edible plants.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, I probably eat about 10 to 20 pounds of stinging nettle per year.
Wow.
This is a plant where if someone's looking to break free from the grocery store and become a wild human being, this is it. I bet you Christopher ate quite a bit of stinging nettle in his 2 years of roaming the West.
Yeah.
What do you think Christopher would think about this foraging walk?
He'd probably massively think it's cool.
Think he ever came to Griffith Park?
I wouldn't be surprised if he did, because, I mean, he spent time in Los Angeles.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I don't know. I feel like he would have probably gone around. I mean, he moved around a lot.
Yeah.
You know.
The scene, is there a scene of him down in like the
Downtown
LA
LA.
River? Downtown LA?
Yeah, we actually shot at like the homeless shelter.
Okay. So that's just a couple miles from here.
Yeah.
So it's quite possible he was here.
Yeah, maybe.
That's cool to think about. I bet you he roamed the river a little bit. There's some good foraging down there.
Mm.
Shall we see about another plant or two?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's see. Oh, I got the one I'm excited about.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you ever seen these little nuts before?
Is this a... Man, trying to guess the nuts is not easy.
No, it's not.
Is this a... macadamia nut?
Oh, that'd be nice if it was. But this is the California Bay Laurel.
Oh.
So if it looks like an avocado, which I think it looks a little like an avocado, they're related. They're in the same group. But the California Bay Laurel, you can actually eat these nuts so that in the fall time. They're not ripe yet. But if you do break this open, you can see the nut inside.
Oh my God, I just squirted.
Did you?
Yeah.
They're pretty strong. Whew. And in the fall, so
God, they're so
talking like,
wet.
yeah,
It's crazy.
juicy.
Holy crap. Thought it was gonna be totally dry.
Yeah, they would be dry in the fall.
Damn.
So you can break these open in September, October, and then you can roast these. And this is the closest thing you'll taste to a wild chocolate.
Really?
They're actually incredibly delicious. It's one of the tastiest foods that I have eaten in California.
Wow.
And they're
What do you call it again?
California Bay Laurel, or
California
just
Bay
Bay Laurel as well. And yeah, it's a really wonderful one. Very important food to indigenous people. You can see all the nuts up there. I mean, it's just absolutely loaded with nuts.
It's like some weird stick with leather hanging from the branch there.
Oh yeah.
What is it?
Oh yeah, some sort of
What is it?
nunchucks.
Some errant nunchuck.
But
Wow.
how How I work with this plant the most is this is actually the toothbrush plant. So what I do is I chew this edge a little bit. Okay, that's a little better.
Look at my toothbrush.
Yeah, pruners is definitely the general better way of doing this. Yes, so what I do now is I chew that a little bit to splay this out, turn it into a little bit of a brush, which is not working as well as usual. And then it's just like this. And then I just work down. And
It's like a good floss.
yes, it's a brush and it's actually not a toothpaste, but it's antimicrobial. So it actually does what people are seeking from that, which is washing the mouth.
What about the leaves here?
Okay, so if you want to try something, this is intense, but this is the Listerine leaf.
Oh shit.
You chew this up, swish it around. It's so strong you won't be able to hold on to it for too long. Try to get some moisture in there and swish it a little bit. If you can give it like 10 or 15 seconds,
Swallow?
you can spit it out or swallow. And now breathe out. Or breathe in. Breathe in.
Yeah, no.
Are you getting that?
Yeah.
So it's powerful.
Yeah.
So I am,
It's crazy.
when we saw each other a year ago, just before that I had gotten rid of my toothbrush, and I haven't used a toothbrush, toothpaste, or dental floss since then.
Really?
I'm like 15 months into no.
Are you on this?
This when I'm in California, and then other plants.
Wow.
How's it look like it's going?
Good.
Little stained.
Tiny bit.
Yeah.
I think you're good.
The stain, but besides the stain,
Nice teeth.
it's going well. But just to note, this is a native plant, and so you want to be gentle with it. There's a lot of California Bay laurel, and so people can come here and you can harvest some leaves, no question about that. But you want to be gentle, not hacking back big branches or anything like that, and being respectful and loving the plant. All right, so let's see. It's been 15 months since I've used a toothbrush, toothpaste, or dental floss. I've just done a mouth rinse. Want to smell my breath and see how it is?
All right, let's do it. It's good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Any foulness?
Yeah.
There's about 400 plants, different plants that I have harvested as food or medicine. And during this year of foraging all my food and medicine, there's probably about 180 now that I have worked with. And some of them, it's just like I've harvested once or twice with someone who knew the plant and introduced me to it. But at least 100 of them are staple plants that I would say I have a significant relationship with.
Yeah.
As in, my life is actually different because they are in my life and they've actually enriched my life.
Wow. What would be some of those top plants, do you think?
And the black walnut, the wild nuts, acorns,
Yeah.
black walnuts, hazelnuts, chestnuts, hickory nuts. I'm probably gonna eat, I don't know.
Are peanuts common?
Not in the wild.
No.
No.
Oh.
They're only a domesticated plant.
Wow.
Yep. That's
Damn.
nice.
That's not a
I might as well teach you this one as well. Have you ever seen this around?
What is it?
This is called Plantago or plantain, and it's one of the most common weeds that grows in yards and gardens all over the United States. It's probably present in,
Oh yeah.
do you have a yard?
Yeah. A little one.
You probably have this in your yard. You could take a look. And this is worked with in numerous ways. What a lot of people do is they take the leaf, they chew it up, And if you've got a bee sting, you take that chewed up leaf, see how it's got this green liquid coming out?
Yeah.
You stick that on there and it helps to prevent from swelling.
Wow.
So it's used for bee stings as well as other, stings and rashes. And it's a very common medicine. And then the seed heads are actually very high in fiber. This is called psyllium husks, which is what's present in Metamucil.
Yeah.
So
That's what it's from?
it's from a close relative of
Okay.
this. So basically the same plant. And you can use this
Wow.
plant the exact same way. So literally people are going to the store and buying this stuff and it's growing in their yards.
God, it's so crazy.
So you can eat these seed heads. You can just chew them just like that or strip off the seeds. And I think they have a mild and pleasant flavor.
Yeah, it's almost like, I want to say baby corn because it looks a little bit like baby corn, but I don't actually know if it tastes like baby corn.
I would like it if it was baby corn.
Baby corn, yeah.
So, and then, the way that you can really identify this plant, besides the fact that if you see a leaf growing like this and it looks like this, what you want to do is you can pick it. And what's really unique about this is that the veins will pull out.
Oh, wow.
Oh, there you go. It's perfect. If you
Oh,
want to get a
wow, yeah.
close-up of this over here, that they pull out
It's interesting
like
because
that.
you don't normally see leaves with veins this thick. Like,
Yeah.
like compared to the rest of the leaf, it's much like you can feel the 3Dness of it.
Yep, it's got those
like a
deeply indented
big ass
veins. Yep. So that's Plantago or plantain, and it's a really good one to know. You can add it to your
Cool.
soups. If you're juicing, you can juice it. Add it to your salads, smoothies, anything. It's very. In fact, I've seen websites that have listed this as the top 10 most medicinal plants on Earth,
Wow.
and I agree, along with 10,000 other plants. That's
Yeah.
the top 10. So from this distance, what do you think that is right there?
Well, this one,
Yep.
the bushy one.
Yep.
Oh man, I feel like I have no idea.
Let's see once you get closer.
Oh man. Avocado? No.
So give it a smell.
Oh, this is what we had before.
Yep.
The California Bay Laurel.
Yep.
Wow.
So if you
It's
look
like
at
a
this-
trick question.
If you look at this tree and you're not sure, you can just smell it.
Damn, dude, that smells
Strong,
pungent.
right?
Yeah.
Very fun. This is a good one to know, to get to know the land. Okay, I see the pantry's still there. Nobody has stolen it. Los Angeles has been good to me so far. You want to check out the pantry?
Yeah, let's check it out.
I'm somewhat self-conscious about seeing all the stuff that I have,
Oh.
but to forage all of my food and be on the road
Ooh,
requires
cool.
a fair bit of stuff,
Yeah.
and this is it. So, like, I've got all these jars, all these
Oh my gosh.
jars full of food, maple syrup. Try some of that plum sauce. Elderberries, fermented wild ramps, pear sauce, and then here, hold that for a sec. This is a car-killed turkey.
Ooh. Wow.
That's what I ate for lunch today. And then lots of jars of fish.
Oh my gosh.
These are called smelt, and they're a little bait fish that you go catch with nets.
Oh yeah.
I caught 100 pounds of them and I canned them for the road. So this is like, I eat 1 jar of this every single day, basically.
Wow.
Yeah, it's one of my staple foods. And then,
that is a heavy.
yeah, canned foods are heavy. And then this bag, this bag here, there's just all sorts of stuff. Acorn flour, eating. This is,
This is all stuff you foraged.
Yeah.
Wow, man, you've been.
dehydrated mushrooms, wild yam flour
What?
from Florida. It's a
How do you make the flour? You just grind it up? Or?
dehydrate it
Uh-huh.
and then put it into my Vitamix blender, which I
Wow.
also actually am traveling with. And this has got a really high power. You probably have you used one of these before?
Yeah.
So you just stick the dehydrated chunks in there and it blends up. Elm samaras, they're a very unique food. These I harvested on the side of a bike path and there may have been dog poop.
Oh God.
So I don't share those. Chanterelle mushrooms. So yes, this car is quite loaded with food. Boletes, different bolete mushrooms. So let's I'll show you some of the foods in the pantry, and actually we could try it. This more or less represents my diet. So we've got the wild rice here. Have you ever had wild rice?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I can just have a bite.
Sure. I mean, there's no harm in nibbling on a couple just to get
Very
to know
hard.
it. Yeah. You would normally cook it, but it's a good way to get to know it, to nibble on a few.
My mom's ex-boyfriend, growing up, who was a Chinese herbalist.
Oh yeah?
He wasn't Chinese, but he was.
Yeah.
He did Chinese herbology or
Yeah.
whatever. And he had like a acupuncture, but he had like a study, and it was like filled with jars of.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. This is like giving me flashbacks to Henry's
Really?
room. Yeah.
Nice. Probably lots of herbs.
Yeah, tons of. I don't know. I don't think he was like eating though. It was more just like medicinal.
Medicinal. Yep. So this is the stinging nettle that we went to earlier. So I dehydrate it and stuff it into a jar, and this is what I make teas, or I just add this into my rice, my soups and such. It's a strong smell, huh? And then this is actually a car-killed deer, or what people call roadkill.
Whoa.
Yep. This is my last jar.
And you just cook it and then put it in the jar.
You actually just pack the raw meat into the jar, put that into a pressure canner, and the pressure canner superheats it, and then when you take it out, it's vacuum seals, and then this can store for years.
Wow.
Yep.
Cool.
So, car-killed deer, smelt, that's the fish. This is plum sauce. This
Do you like umeboshi plums? Have you ever had those? They're like pickled plums.
Oh, really?
Pretty good.
Pickled?
Pickled, yeah.
Oh, I'd like to do that. So this is maple syrup. That's just all maple sugar around the edges.
Wow.
That's from red maples from my hometown up in northern Wisconsin that I harvested in April. Give it a try if you'd like.
Put it out like a... It's pretty good.
Yeah, take a little more.
Yeah, after the bay laurel.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's nice.
Very tasty.
Take a swig if you want. So, this is salt from the ocean, so I harvest my own sea salt.
Wow.
Yep. Give that a try.
It's definitely salt.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
How do you harvest the sea salt?
I just go to the ocean with a 5-gallon bucket, fill it up, take it home, boil it, and you're left with salt after you boil off the water. 1 5-gallon bucket gives you 2 jars like this.
Wow.
So,
there's a lot of salt in salt water.
3.5% about.
Wow.
And for that, I wouldn't go to like the Los Angeles beach. I go to the cleanest beaches.
Yeah.
This is from Portland, Maine, and from the Florida Everglades. But if I was in California, I'd go up to like Northern California.
Yeah.
Or, you know, Oregon or Washington. This is called Brazilian pepper. And if you want to give that a smell, here in California, you have the California pepper, which has the pink peppercorns.
Yeah.
Have you ever noticed that around?
I'm not sure.
It's pretty common. Keep a watch for this now. And if you want to give this a try, generally used for meats, for putting on meats, and commonly used in Brazil.
Yeah.
It's a unique one, right? Mm-hmm. I didn't like it at first. It took me a while.
It's almost like there's like a eucalyptus vibe or something. Or maybe that's the bay laurel.
Sounds like you got a lot of flavors in your mouth.
Yeah. Who am I?
This is a caffeinated plant that grows in North America that you can forage in the wild. It's called Japan holly, and it's a close relative of yerba mate, which grows in Argentina.
Whoo!
Does it have a smell to it?
I mean, not a bad one. Coffee-esque? No.
It's like, have you had yerba mate?
Yeah.
Where you drink it out of the bombilla?
Yeah.
And the gourd? It's basically like that or green tea. Here, put that in your pocket and make that. That's probably like 3 servings.
Okay.
And just boil some water and then steep it for like 5 minutes in there.
Okay.
The longer, the more strong it will be. Let me know what you think.
The caffeination.
Yes, Japan holly. So you roast it first. If you do this, if you don't roast it, it can make you puke. But once you've roasted it, you're good.
So the stuff in my pocket is nice and roasted.
Yep, I roasted it already. And then, so there's 2 things to try here. This is a unique one. This is choke cherry leather. This is fruit leather, which this has the cherry pit and the fruit in it.
So it's cherries.
Yes, but particularly
Mashed up cherry.
Particularly choke cherry, which is a unique cherry. And the seeds have cyanide in them. But the traditional.
Check out my wall of death.
Oh, I have the death beans. Dang, I left the death beans at home. The Lakota people were one of the main people and are one of the main people who do this. And what happens is when you smash up the seed with the fruit, the cyanide off gases, and then you can eat the whole thing.
Wow.
So toxic to just eat the seed, but by smashing it up and dehydrating it, all the cyanide is gone.
Good.
Yeah. How would you describe that?
Cherry-esque.
Cherry-esque. But
Cherry-esque with like a little neutral, like, I don't know. It's a very interesting consistency, actually. It's like between beef jerky and chocolate and fruit and...
Oh, you're naming all tasty things right now.
You're like, fuck, that sounds good.
All right, you want to try the finale food?
Ooh, yeah, what is that?
So this is fermented wild garlic.
Oh.
A feral... Actually, I think this is Allium bineale, if I recall. And so it's kind of like a garlic, kind of like an onion, a little bit between the two of them. They turn blue naturally. I don't know why they turn blue. You want this one or?
Yeah.
And these have been fermenting for about 3 months in a hot car.
Wow.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Strong smell? Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, it's pretty strong. You just eat it like that. It's like eating raw garlic. Right?
Well, I'm glad
It's
to
garlic,
hear that.
right?
Yeah, I mean, more or less.
What do you mean? It's not garlic?
It's kind of garlic, kind of onion. I mean, to me, it's like a garlic and an onion.
It's got like an alien kind of quality. It's cool. It's almost like it's like borderline sour.
Yeah. So this is wild fermentation. That's
Damn.
So this has got billions
Strong.
of bacteria and yeast in there, and this is just.
You just drink the juice too.
I drink the juice as well, or add that to my soups to give it a little bit of flavor.
Wow. So you have like no body fat, right?
I was 8.7% when I last got checked.
That's surprising.
You would think that's
Lower.
higher. You would think lower. Yeah, I have.
Eating all this stuff, I mean, it's good, but I mean, I feel like I would lose so much weight foraging.
Yeah.
Because I'd be like, I'm eating what I need to survive, not because it tastes amazing.
Well, that's where the fish comes in and
Yeah.
the venison comes in. There's fat on the venison as well. And you know, the maple sugar.
Yeah, you cut the fish out and
Yeah.
that roadkill
yeah.
deer out,
Yeah.
and you're gonna be one skinny mofo.
It's not just plants. A lot of people talk about like doing with just plants.
You just do plants, man.
Yeah.
You're gonna get thin.
Yeah, I don't see how it would be doable.
It'd be really hard, yeah.
So, into the wild, Griffith Park, how are you feeling?
I feel great.
Yeah?
I'm happy to have come and gotta do this little video with you. I think it's pretty cool, and you know, obviously a lot of what you do is very Chris McCandless-esque to me.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that that's really cool, and I'm happy there are people like you doing what you're doing.
Yeah, a lot of people over the years have brought up Christopher McCandless to me, so I just thought this would be really fun to get to hang out and, you know, have a little into the wild Griffith
We
Park
met through my
moment.
sister Jenny.
Yep.
You know, and I remember she was like, I've been going and hanging, going to Griffith Park and seeing this guy Robin, and I was like, what do you mean you're going to the park and seeing a guy? Like, what are you talking about? And then we all went and got to hear you speak and talk about what you were doing, and it was really cool. So it's nice to come back to the park.
Yep. Feeling a little like walking away from here, you'll be able to have a little bit more of a connection to the plants around here.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a little bit of the release of tension of how things went for your character.
Yeah, you know, it's funny, you know, like a lot of the fears that we have, you know, it's not that they're unfounded. You just don't want to let them own your space.
Yeah.
So the little things you can do to like move towards getting over it is good.
Yeah. You want to, I mean, most people who are watching this have seen you before but don't know about your music or your art. You want to let people know about that a little bit?
Yeah. Well, the music is something I had made years ago. And if anyone wants to hear it, it's on Spotify or wherever you listen to music. It's out there. We made it ourselves and just self-released it. And I've been doing paintings now for a couple of years. And I made a film in the fall that I wrote the script for and I acted in. And that's a rock climber movie. And we shot it in Montana and Oregon. It's like it's like the most outdoorsy movie, basically since Into the Wild, where it's all the great outdoors. Tonally, it's a little different. It's more of a comedy in a way. I wanted to have a different vibe in nature. I was like, okay, if I'm gonna go back into nature and do this crazy rock climbing, 1,000 feet up, I'm like, I want to do it a little differently. And that's called In Tandem. So I'm really excited about that. And there's kind of fun echoes of Into the Wild in it, but it's its own thing.
Nice.
Yeah, we got some pretty, I won't say who, but we got some pretty rock climbers to be in.
Okay. When's it come out?
Hopefully the end of the year.
Okay.
I think, yeah.
Nice. In Tandem.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And that was another thing too, like overcoming the fear of heights.
Oh yeah.
Like all the rock climbing, you know, and get to set's a cliff, you know, and you have to climb up, and you know, most of the time we're up, you know, 30 or 40 feet so that they can get all the shots that they need. But 40 feet up, you know, it's very different than being in the indoor gym.
Yeah.
When you're in the gym, you're like, I'm not gonna fall, or the hold is gonna. But when you're on a cliff, part of you always wonders if a rock's gonna just explode.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do, you know?
Yep.
Where you have like a bolt and it just...
Yeah.
Anyways.
Nice. Well, thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thank you.
Good
Thanks
to be
for the
out here,
invite.
my friend.
Thanks, Robin.
Until next time.
Yeah, until next time. Bye, guys.
See you, friends. The common narrative about Christopher McCandless is that he died by misidentifying the wild sweet pea for the wild potato. But according to Sam Thayer, one of the world's most foremost foragers in the book Nature's Garden, he died actually because he starved to death. The great news for all of you is there's no need to starve to death with foraging. Foraging is safe, and you just need to start with one plant at a time if you're looking to begin. So, don't worry about learning all the toxic plants, my friend. One plant at a time, build the knowledge, build the skills to break free from the grocery store and reconnect with the earth, dear friends.